Hello everyone, this is Mary here, and today I will tell you about a film in which the main character will have to confront an ancient military order, find a way to a magical village, and fly on a dragon to stop the world's evil. The film is called Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Be careful, spoilers ahead. The film opens with an epic scene of two hosts facing each other in a spacious valley. The voiceover tells that millennia ago, a certain warrior by unknown means got into possession of 10 rings, which made him equal in power to the gods and gave him immortality. The leader of one of the troops rides forward, and we see magical artifacts strung on his arm. The hero rushes into battle. He does not care about the shower of arrows and swords of the enemy. With incredible ease, the leader scatters enemy soldiers to the sides, clearing the path for his army. It is impossible to stop him. Not subject to the flow of time, the leader conquered many lands and peoples, achieving absolute power. For many centuries, he has voluntarily removed governments and changed the course of history. True, now the leader is acting covertly, relying on the power of the Ten Rings army he created. 1996 is coming. Having achieved everything that one can wish for, the invincible warrior decides to take possession of the last corner of the earth inaccessible to him, the magical village of Ta Lo, where miracles happen and magical animals live. He is not afraid of the trees that suddenly come into motion and close the forest road. He is not embarrassed by the death of his companions. However, almost at the goal, the warrior's path is blocked by a female guard, who is not inferior to the owner of the artifacts in combat skills. A battle flares up, quickly beginning to resemble a dance. Having appreciated each other's courage and skill, recent opponents fall in love. They get married. The warrior, whose name is Su Wenwu, retires, and his wife Li gives birth to 2 children, a boy, Shang-Chi, and a girl, Xiaolin. A few years later, the grown-up Shang-Chi and his mother are sitting at the table, making paper dragons and talking. A woman hangs an amulet with a large green stone around her son's neck. The action moves to our time. We see a man with the same amulet around his neck and realize that this is Shang-Chi. He grew up, moved to the USA, changed his name to Sean, and, despite his unusual origin, works as a simple parking attendant along with a reckless partner Kathy, a faithful friend from school years. During gatherings in a bar, mutual acquaintances are surprised. Both Shang-Chi and Kathy graduated from the university, and the guy also knows 4 languages. Why do they work in low-paid and unprestigious jobs and do not think about the future? The friends lightly brush off the questions.
You sound like my mom. You also dress like her a little bit too.
And party karaoke all night, ignoring the fact that they both have to get up early. In the morning, Shang-Chi picks up Kathy at home to drive to work together. However, on the bus, a green stone around the guy's neck attracts the attention of several men who are unfriendly. Realizing that it will not be possible to resolve the conflict with the world, Shang-Chi enters into a fight with men, which surprises Kathy. She was sure that her friend had no idea about martial arts. During a long and bright fight, Shang-Chi manages to briskly scatter opponents who outnumber him around the cabin, fight back a giant with a cleaver instead of a hand, and actually tear the bus in half. He emerges victorious from the battle and even saves passengers with the help of the faithful Kathy, who has the ability to not get lost in difficult situations. At the same time, our hero almost does not receive any damage, but loses the coveted amulet with a green stone. Shang-Chi hurries home to pack and fly to Macau.
Where are you going?
Macau.
Macau?
He promises Kathy to tell everything upon his return, but the girl definitely does not agree to sit quietly at home while the guy is waiting for adventure. She reminds Shang-Chi how long they've been friends and demands to tell him everything. He gives up. He explains to Kathy that after the death of his mother, he and his sister remained in the care of their father, who began to sculpt a great fighter from his son. Years of hard training helped the guy become the best in his business, but when Wenwu gave his son the first task, something happened that Shang-Chi is still silent about. What is clear is that he had to flee from China to the United States. Now the guy is afraid for his sister Xiaolin, whom the bandits can harm, and therefore he is forced to go to Macau and find the Golden Daggers Club at the address on the postcard that the girl sent a couple of months ago. Arriving in China, the friends head to the club and find Wang, who fights the abomination in the arena and famously opens portals in space. However, our heroes do not have time to watch the battle and place bets. It turned out that Shang-Chi became a local celebrity when a video of his fight with bandits hit YouTube. Now the guy has to prove his skills by fighting with the first fighter of the club. Sluggish attempts to refuse do not work.
You got this.
You got this.
Don't be nervous.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And the guy is literally pushed into the arena, where Charlene, the best fighter and owner of the club, appears before him. However, the girl is in no hurry to rejoice at the meeting with her brother. She actively attacks, not wanting to talk, and emerges victorious from the fight, as Shang-Chi cannot bring himself to hit her sister. At the office after the battle, Charlene tells Kathy that her brother left her alone, promising to return in 3 days and missing for 6 years.
A week turned to a month, and a month turned to 6 years.
Now the girl does not want to have anything to do with a runaway relative, and she did not send postcards.
Then why would you send me the postcard?
What postcard?
Shang-Chi realizes that he was specifically sent to Macau to lure Charlene to a meeting. She has exactly the same amulet hanging on her chest, which the robbers are probably hunting for. The guy does not have time to guess about this, as the warriors of the 10 Rings attack the club. Charlene hides, and Shang-Chi and Kathy are forced to get out of the office through the scaffolding outside the building. Naturally, it cannot do without an impressive fight, where curved swords whistle, the heroes perform acrobatic somersaults, and Kathy, who spectacularly falls from an incredible height, is caught at the last moment first by Shang-Chi, who for some unknown reason is invulnerable to the enemy's weapons, and then Charlene, who came to the rescue. The guy is glad that his sister has returned, but her intervention does not change anything. The pendant is stolen, the villains run away with the loot amid explosions, and when the guy manages to grab the leader, Shang-Chi and Charlene's father appears, armed with 10 magic rings. After grabbing Kathy, he takes the 3 of them by helicopter to the old family home, where Wenwu proclaims to the warriors that his son has returned.
My son is home!
Sitting in her room, Charlene tells Kathy that as a child, her father did not want to see her, because the girl resembled her dead wife, and forbade her to train with the boys. Having secretly learned everything she could, the girl left home at the age of 16 and organized a club in Macau.
If my dad won't let me into his empire, I'm gonna build my own.
She has not seen her father or brother since. At dinner, Wenwu tells the guests that he has been transformed by meeting Yingli. He stopped chasing power and locked the magic rings in a chest, and his wife left life in the village to be close to her beloved, although her family forbade the girl to leave her native land. Both were incredibly happy.
I finally found something worth growing old for.
And Wenwu couldn't bear the loss when the woman was killed.
I was lost for many years.
Studying ancient books, he came to the conclusion that Yingli is alive and locked in the mysterious village of Ta Lo by the will of evil relatives. The beauty can be found and returned, because Wenwu hears the voice of her beloved, calling her husband from the other side, and feels her invisible presence. Shang-Chi doesn't trust his father. Then he inserts the medallions taken from the children into the eyes of the dragon statue, and the water gushing from the walls draws a labyrinth on the floor, remembering the way through which you can go to the mysterious village on the only day of the year. Wenwu intends to get his wife back, even if it means burning the village to the ground.
We'll burn the village to the ground.
The children refuse to help their father and are locked in the basement. There they find another prisoner, actor Trevor Slattery, a dummy terrorist leader named Mandarin, who posed as Wenwu and was put under lock and key by him. Trevor sits in the basement, entertaining the soldiers with scenes from Shakespeare and communicating with a strange creature named Morris, whom Wenwu found in the forest near the Forbidden Village. Morris offers to lead friends to the village without waiting for the appointed day, and Charlene punches a passage in the wall to freedom. Taking with them a wonderful creature and Trevor, the trinity of friends with a fight breaks free in their father's car. They follow the forest surrounding Ta Lo, and, following the advice of Morris, manage to make their way through the revived thicket to the waterfall.
Morris says, "Great job, everyone."
When the tunnel with a water barrier is left behind, a valley full of fabulous animals and birds appears before the travelers. Strange people live here, who meet uninvited guests unfriendly, but obeying the word of a woman who suddenly appeared in the crowd, lowers their spears. This is Yinan, Shang-Chi's aunt, and Charlene, their mother's sister. She tells her friends the truth. Thousands of years ago, her people were attacked by the Dweller of Darkness, whose servants devoured the souls of people. The great protector dragon helped push the enemy with his army into the darkness and lock the gates forever, the very ones that Shang-Chi's father now wants to open. With the help of his rings, this is easy to do, so the dark forces call Wenwu with the voice of his wife. Friends decide to take the side of the villagers. Xiaolin receives a dagger on a rope that he skillfully throws, Kathy masters the ability to shoot a bow, and Shang-Chi's aunt teaches the secrets of martial art to his mother. At night, the guy tells Kathy that as a child he witnessed the death of his mother and fled from China, because, on the orders of his father, he took revenge on her killer. The guy could not come to terms with what he did, because Lin would be disappointed in her son, who stained his hands with blood. The guy is ready to fight with Wenwu, who turned him into a killer, to the death.
I'm gonna do what he trained me to do.
In the morning, the Ten Rings warriors arrive in the valley. Nan tries to reason with Wenwu, but he is adamant. The battle begins. Shang-Chi hurries to stop his father and almost wins, but at the last moment he throws his son into the lake and breaks open the gate. Evil breaks out. The monsters of the Dweller of Darkness attack the army of 10 Rings, whose weapons are powerless against them. The soldiers team up with the villagers to confront a common enemy. Only Trevor and Morris do not participate in the battle, who lie quietly on the battlefield.
Calm down, mate. I'm not dead, it's just a performance. Now get down here, play along.
And pretend to be corpses. Shang-Chi, who is drowning in the lake, is saved by the Dragon Great Protector, on whose back the guy returns to battle. He again gets in the way of his father and, using the knowledge gained in the village, successfully opposes him. 5 rings out of 10 obey the guy, and now he and his father are fighting on equal terms. Wenwu is defeated, but the servants have already managed to feed the Dweller of Darkness with souls, and he breaks free. Covering his son with himself, the man dies, having managed to hand over his rings to Shang-Chi. The inhabitant of darkness rushes to the village. At the very shore, the dragon crashes into him, but the servants continue to feed the ruler with souls, and he begins to overcome the defender. Seeing this, Kathy takes her best shot. An arrow pierces the monster's throat, the dragon knocks the Dweller of Darkness into the lake, and Xiaolin and Shang-Chi tear it apart using the magic power of the rings. After the victory, Shang-Chi and Kathy return to the USA. At the bar, they tell their friends about their adventures. They are sure that they are being ridiculed, but Wong suddenly appears from the fiery portal and takes the restless couple away.
Let's go. We have a lot to talk about. You too.
The post-credits scene shows how friends Bruce Banner and Carol Danvers, talking about the nature of the 10 Rings and finding out that the artifact sends a signal into space, the nature of which is not clear. But Shang-Chi and Kathy never got rid of their frivolous attitude to life. After a couple of minutes, we see how they have fun in karaoke, taking Wong with them. Xiaolin, meanwhile, takes control of her father's men, becoming the new leader of the 10 Rings army. Now women are also participating in the training.